Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all alright. I am now 34 weeks and 6 days pregnant, which is wild. It is going so quick. I can't believe how fast it's coming round and that I am literally full term 2 weeks tomorrow. It is just mind-blowing to me. I asked what video you wanted to see this week and the overwhelming response was for me to talk about my birth preferences. Or what some people call a birth plan. Now, just to kind of set the tone for you, I don't see it as a plan at all. I feel, I'm going to discuss this, I've kind of avoided talking about this as I feel like, considering how long it took us to get pregnant, considering the journey we went on to get pregnant in the first place, I don't think worry is the right word, but I think I am slightly concerned that people will maybe misinterpret what I'm saying incorrectly. So I'm going to try and explain how I feel around this as good as possible. When it has come to the birth, I have been quite disassociated from it. And what I mean by that is that I have never felt so chilled out about something in my entire life, to the point where it's actually concerned me that I am so nonchalant about giving birth. I think because we focused so much on the actual getting pregnant side of things, I still don't really feel like it has sunk in, and I don't really feel like I am going to be giving birth in, say, 6 weeks' time. That hasn't sunk in for me at all. I think part of the reason is because we focused on the getting pregnant so much. I think some of it is just pure, I don't know, I really don't know what the reasoning behind it is, but I just feel like it hasn't sunk in. And when I talk about giving birth and I talk about a birth plan or birth preferences, I feel like I'm being really hypothetical. I don't feel like I'm talking about myself. I feel like I'm talking about a third person, which is really bizarre to me, and I can't quite understand that myself, but I am taking it as a good thing because I feel like I'm not letting it get into my head. I'm not worrying about giving birth. I might feel differently when I am in that situation, but at the moment I feel really calm and collected about it, and I actually feel quite excited for it. But again, I think it is because I'm not quite registering that it is me that is going to be doing this, and a lot of people have been really surprised about my approach towards this because I am by nature such a control freak. I am someone who earlier on in my pregnancy, everybody was saying to me, I cannot believe how much you've got done, how quickly you've had all this organised, like how organised you are, the fact that you've got spreadsheet after spreadsheet and all the rest of it and know exactly what I need or think I know what I need, etc, etc, etc. So I think I've surprised a lot of people with the way that I am approaching birth, and that I do think I've had to relinquish some of the control, and maybe because quite early on I accepted that, that might have something to do with the way that I feel, in that I know that things do not go to plan, or things don't always go to plan, I should say. So I think that's maybe why, but doing my birth preferences wasn't really something that was top of my priority list. The same with my hospital bag, I've still not done that. And again, I feel like it's because it's all still in my head hypothetical. I don't think it's actually going to sink in until we come home with the baby and we're like, okay, we're actually responsible for this human. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. So because it's not sunk in, I think I've been quite late to do this. The only reason that I've even done it, if I'm honest, is because I have my midwife appointment week after next where we are going to be discussing it. I also have a consultant appointment next week where we are going to be discussing it, and if you've watched my previous vlogs you will know that my baby is currently breech, and if my baby is still breech at my scan next week, we're going to be discussing different options such as the ECV and what happens after that. So I'm kind of not trying to pin myself down to a specific plan because I don't really think that that will be beneficial for me at all. I don't think that would help me. So I have put together a list of preferences. We've been doing hypnobirthing. I will talk you through kind of what my preferences are, what my ideal situation would be, and then what my ideal situation would be if it was to go any other way. There are some things that I am really certain about, but not things, they're decisions that can be made far in advance. So they're decisions that we made right at the beginning and I don't even need to think about now. So I will go through my birth preferences with you. Like I say, take it with a pinch of salt. It doesn't always go this way. I think what everybody wants is different. If you look at my birth plan and go, this woman is in la la land, she's absolutely not going to get this, or you know, hear my birth plan and you think this is my idea of hell, then that's absolutely fine. Like, I don't think there is a right or wrong way to do it, as long as everybody is safe and healthy. This is just ideally what I would like to do. So we haven't put together like a proper written out plan yet. Like I say, I'm talking to my midwife about it in a couple of weeks on the basis that we're doing the hypnobirthing course with the Positive Birth Company. They have got some templates within that course, so I will fill one of those out so I have a hard copy, or I will just quite literally type it up on Microsoft Word and go, there you go, so they have it. We also have an app. It's not an app, it's a online portal, which is called, I can't remember what it's called, I think it's just called My Pregnancy Notes, where all of my details are kept and any questions I've got for my midwife, so on and so forth, everything can be inputted on there. They have your pregnancy preferences, your birth preferences, and your postnatal preferences, so everything is inputted on there anyway. So at the moment I have quite literally just put them all on a notepad and I will then type them up as and when, probably at the very last minute. But like I say, this is just my ideal. It might not go to plan and that's absolutely fine, and whatever happens, happens. So let's get on with it. In an ideal world, I do want a spontaneous vaginal birth, and that's that. That is what I want. I don't want to be induced. I don't want a sweep. I don't want anything like that. I have decided that unless it is absolutely medically necessary, I will refuse all of those to the very last minute. I am consultant led. I also live in an area where IVF alone is not a reason for you to be high risk. I am high risk for other reasons, but at the moment those seem to be managed. My consultant wants me to be on the consultant-led ward, and she is quite happy for me to have a spontaneous birth, providing everything continues to go to plan. Obviously that is also now providing that baby flips, but for the purpose of this video, we are going to talk as though baby is head down and ready. So I was quite happy to comply with that. I was quite happy to say, yeah, I'm quite happy to be on the consultant ward. I knew before I was even pregnant that I absolutely did not want a home birth. Some people have them. A friend of ours has recently had one. Magical. For us, it's an absolute no. I did speak in one of my previous vlogs about, I'm not going to go into detail about her birth. However, when my mum gave birth to my sister, we very nearly lost her. I was very young at the time, so I can't say that I have any kind of trauma from that, but I know that as far as my family is concerned, whenever the topic of home birth has come up, it makes everybody anxious. I don't want that. I don't want to feel those anxieties. If I'm really honest, the idea of giving birth at home doesn't appeal to me anyway. I feel like we have Bruce. I'd be so worried that there would be dog hair in places there shouldn't be dog hair, and I just feel like I would feel too much pressure having somebody come into my house. I am someone who, when people come round, I feel like I really need to accommodate them, and I will be offering them cups of tea like tea is going out of fashion, and always want to offer them food. And I feel like being in labour at home with a midwife in my house, with somebody who isn't usually here, I would feel really stressed about that. So for me, it's just an absolute no. I want to be in hospital. I've never considered doing it anywhere else. I want to know that if anything was to go wrong or there were any issues, I was in the right place and everything they needed was there. Again, no judgment on that. If you want a home birth, that's absolutely fine. But for me personally, it was a no. In an ideal world, what I would like is a really calm, a nice quiet water birth with minimal intervention. I am open to pain relief. I ideally don't want an epidural or anything too strong. For me, I am very open to gas and air. I will happily say yes to gas and air, but everything else I don't really want. I'm happy for them to be offered. I would like them to be offered, in that I know that with some medication you kind of reach a point where you can't have it after a certain point. I want to be told when that point is nearing, so that I can make a decision there and then, depending on how I feel. In an ideal world, I'm thinking I don't want any medication at all, but I don't want the option taken away from me. I don't want to not be offered it, and therefore I'm going in with an open mind. But gas and air is something that I am definitely quite happy to be given. I want to be as mobile as possible. So as I said at the beginning, we are doing hypnobirthing. We have been doing that hypnobirthing course. We've nearly finished the course now. I want to be able to use my birthing ball. I want to move around. I want to use my breathing techniques. I feel very confident that Marco knows what to say and what to do to keep me calm. I feel like there is nobody better for me to have in that room than Marco. I think he is the only person really that has the ability to keep me calm and not stress me out anymore. Not that any of my friends would, but I feel like there is nobody else I would want in the room other than him. So that is kind of where I'm at with it. I'd like people to knock before they enter. I'm quite happy to have students. I don't mind having student midwives in there at all. I think people have got to learn. I'm quite happy to be the person they learn from. I really don't mind any of that at all, as long as my wishes are respected and that people are calm. You know, they're not asking me unnecessary questions or, you know, but I'm quite a chilled out person, I think, in that sense. I'm not a chilled out person, but I think in hospital environments and things like that, it doesn't really stress me out. And if they wanted to have a chat about the weather to distract me, that's absolutely fine, as long as all my other wishes are respected. In terms of monitoring, I don't want continuous monitoring unless it is absolutely necessary. I don't want to hear the baby's heartbeat the whole time that I'm in there. I just feel like I'll be too focused on it, and so I don't really want that continuous monitoring unless it is absolutely necessary. I want to be left alone as much as possible. I would like the lights dimmed if possible. I'd like my own music playing, and I would like, you know, people to just remind me of my breathing, remind me of my hypnobirthing techniques. I'd like Marco to use the light touch massage and the techniques that we've learnt within hypnobirthing that we've found work for us, and I would like to be in the pool or in water as much as possible. Now, where I am, because I'm on the consultant-led ward, I do need to have a conversation with my consultant and my midwife to see what is actually available to me, but the consultant did say that I can have a water birth if I want one, but I do have to bear in mind that there is only one pool. So hopefully it's available to me, but I do know that absolutely everybody seems to be pregnant at the moment, and everybody seems to be due within a few weeks of me. So the odds of it being available I think are quite slim, but if I can have it, I absolutely want it. In terms of positions, I do not want to be on my back, and I know that when I said that on Instagram, I did have messages from some people who said that they found that actually being on their back was the best position for them. That's absolutely fine. Like I say, it's, you know, you do what is best for you. But for me, I just see it as really unnatural. It's always baffled me that people give birth on their back. I've never kind of understood that. So for me, it's not something that I really want. When I have like cramps in my stomach and things like that, whenever I am uncomfortable, I tend to be like on all fours. That is kind of my go-to position if I'm uncomfortable. So for me, I would like to be standing up or on all fours as much as possible, really, even if that is like leaning over the bed, whatever. I just don't really want to be on my back unless I can help it. If I'm in labour and I can't get comfortable and the only way I can get comfortable is by being on my back, then so be it. But on paper, hypothetically, that's how I feel. And then, like I say, I would like to give birth in the pool if possible. If not, that's fine, but I don't want to do it on my back, and that's that. I'd like to be in a room ideally that has a bath. That would be quite nice, but anything with water would be wonderful. But yeah, I just, like I say, I just don't want to be on my back, and that is my only request in terms of positions, if we can help it. In terms of the birth, I do want it to be really calm. I want it to be gentle. Again, if I have to have an unplanned C-section, I'm quite happy with that. It wouldn't be my first option at all, but if labour isn't progressing or for whatever reason they're thinking, okay, we think the best thing for you is an unplanned cesarean, then that's absolutely fine and we'll go ahead with that. But I would like, if you've never heard of one, then I really do recommend having a look on YouTube at some videos, but either a natural or gentle cesarean, and effectively the baby kind of wiggles himself out. I really like the look of that, and that does actually, I'm not great with blood, operations, incisions. I have such a weak stomach, and that is one reason why I'm quite nervous about having a cesarean. Even when I had my fallopian tubes out, I remember changing the dressing on my scars, which are tiny little incisions. It was keyhole surgery, and just changing those incisions, I remember looking at them and gagging and going lightheaded and all the rest of it, that I had to get Marco to do it for me, and I don't want to do, I just, if I can avoid that, then I absolutely will. But if I do have to have a C-section, which is fine because things don't go to plan. As long as baby gets here safely, that's all that matters. I would like it to be a gentle or natural cesarean if we can. So definitely look those up because I think they're amazing. I do want immediate skin to skin, and if I can't for whatever reason, then I want Marco to have the immediate skin to skin, but I want immediate skin to skin before the baby has been weighed, before the baby has been cleaned. I just want straight away on a chest and that calm environment to continue as much as possible, although I know I will be absolutely hysterical by this point. So if anybody's calm, it's not going to be me. I also want Marco to tell us the sex, so that's really important to me. We haven't found out what we're having. We have been really strict about that, and I really want that moment of Marco saying to me, it's a girl, it's a boy. I want him to be able to do that. I want him to be included in that, and there is nobody else I would rather tell me. It's our moment, it's our baby. I want him to be the one to tell me, and I really look forward to that moment, and I feel like that would be something really special. And I also want him to cut the cord. Now, delayed cord clamping, I know has a lot to do with, you know, giving that extra time for the blood and the nutrients to get to the baby. I want Marco to be the one to cut the cord when the time comes. A lot of places do delayed cord clamping as standard. I know a lot of trusts do now. I don't know if mine do or not. I know my friend, when she had her baby, she said that, you know, she wasn't even aware that that was a thing. So I don't know whether or not it was just standard for her or not. She was in the middle of lockdown, so it was a little bit different. I don't think everything was quite as thorough as it perhaps is for me at the moment. I don't know, but I am going to ask my midwife if it's standard, and if it isn't standard, then it is something that we would like to do. I'm not going to do any of this placenta encapsulation or anything like that. I know that some people really want to do that. For me, it's just not something that I'm particularly interested in. So I have decided that we're not going to do that. So that's my decision there. I don't mind having any drugs to help me birth the placenta if I need to. I'm not worried about that. If they think that's best, they think that's best. I am someone who, as much as I want to be able to advocate for myself, and we've done a lot of research and obviously the hypnobirthing course and so on and so forth, and learn what we can say yes and no to, etc. I do trust that the medical professionals know what they're talking about, and I don't think all of them are bad apples and so on and so forth. And I think as much as I will advocate for myself, I will also really take what the medical professionals are saying on board. So that is something that I will bear in mind the whole way through. But yeah, I have no issue in them giving me any kind of injection or drug to pass the placenta if I need to. I do want that golden hour. Like I say, I did want the baby to be put straight on my chest, skin to skin, and I do want to be undisturbed for an hour. And then in terms of things like assistance, like forceps, etc., I only want them if it is absolutely medically necessary. I don't really want any intervention unless I have to have it, and I will want a discussion about everything that they're suggesting before anything goes ahead, unless of course it is an emergency, and then I completely understand that they need to take over, and I will be quite happy for them to take over if there is an emergency, of course. Further to that, the only other things really that I have put on there is that I do want to breastfeed. I want to exclusively breastfeed. It is my preference. My preference is that I don't pump, anything like that. I do quite literally want to breastfeed using only boob for the first 6 months. That might not happen. That's absolutely fine if it doesn't, but I want to give it a bloody good go. So I'm going to. So I do want the support to breastfeed. I want to establish that within the first hour. I am going to start colostrum harvesting in the next couple of weeks. I think, I can't remember if it's 36 or 37 weeks that they say to start doing it, but I am going to start doing that. I'm quite happy for the baby to have the vitamin K injection, and yeah, I feel like that's everything really for me anyway. I feel like I've covered everything that are my preferences, and anything further to that is, you know, I'm quite happy to listen to the medical professionals. If there's anything else that my midwife needs to know or thinks I need to include, then I will. But for me, they are my only preferences. I think the only other thing that I will cover is, like I say, at the moment baby is breech. So at my appointment next week, we are gonna have the scan. We're gonna see whether or not baby is still breech, and if baby is still breech, they will offer me an ECV, which is where they give me an injection to relax my uterus and they try and manually turn the baby. It's a 50% success rate. There are obviously risks involved. There is a risk that I will have to deliver the baby there and then if something was to happen during that ECV. I think the risks are quite slim, but like I say, it's only a 50% success rate. We have decided that we are going to have that, and then if it doesn't work, what will happen is, again, I went over this in my vlog last week, so I won't completely bore you to death, but if it doesn't work, they will then suggest a planned cesarean, which I don't want. And it is something that, you know, like an induction, like a sweep, I will think about. Induction and sweep, I am very much no, unless I absolutely need it. And unless I kind of get to that point where I'm 2 weeks overdue, no. But a planned cesarean, I think if it is in the best interest of me and baby, and if my only other option is to have a vaginal birth with a breech baby, I will have the planned cesarean, and I think I've made my mind up on that. However, I will not make a decision after the ECV. I am due to have a scan on my due date, so I have them every 4 weeks. So I'll have my 36-week scan. Then if baby's breech, have the ECV, and then I will have a scan at my 40-week appointment, so my due date. I will make a decision then, and at that scan, if baby is breech, I will then accept that I probably need a C-section, and I will go ahead and have the C-section over a breech vaginal birth. For me, for Marco, we've sat down, we have spoken about this until we're blue in the face, because I really wanted to be prepared for that potential outcome. It was something I really didn't want to begin with. I really didn't want to know what day my baby was coming into the world. I didn't want to have to plan. I really wanted it to be spontaneous. If that can't happen, I am okay with that now, and I feel like, do you know what? If it's the best thing for everyone involved, then it's the best thing for everyone involved. So I will wait until my 40-week scan to make that decision, because I am aware that baby can turn up until the last minute. I still don't think they have turned, just based on the movements and the way that my bump feels. I really don't think they have. But if it comes to that, then that will be my decision. If I go into labour before my 40-week scan, then if they establish that baby is breech, then I will possibly, most likely, agree to an unplanned cesarean and have a C-section there and then. So that is my plan, but I don't feel the need to make any decisions about a cesarean based only on baby being breech before that 40-week scan. I don't feel the need. I think, like I say, they can flip at the very last minute. So we will take it from there, and we will make a decision based on the next few weeks. It's not something I'm getting myself really hepped up about now, and I think that's that. So they are my birth preferences. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Do let me know if there's anything I've not mentioned that I perhaps haven't heard of. Yeah, I just feel like this is right for me. I'm not that fussed about anything else. I'm just, do you know what? Let's do it. Let's have a great time. Let's get this baby out of me in one way or another, whatever is safest, in a really calm way. I just don't want to be stressed, that's all. Let me know, does it differ too much to yours? Did you do anything else to prepare for birth? How did you do your birth plan? Let me know. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you on Sunday for another vlog. See you then.